Let's begin with COVID-19 related issues because the United Emirates-based agents in Ghana's botched attempt to procure Sputnik V vaccine, Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum, has finally refunded the sum of $2.47 million to the government. That's according to Chairman of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that investigated the Sputnik V deal, Alexander Afenyo-Markins. He says the money represents the remaining amount for the non-supplied doses of the vaccines. With this out of the way, Mr. Afenyo-Markins says there is nothing more to ask and the country must consider the matter closed. Deputy Majority Leader Afenyo-Markins, who chaired the committee that probed the deal, confirms receipt of the money and says there's nothing more to demand of the Health Minister, Kpebu Meno.
Let me confirm on good authority that indeed the payment has been made, the refund has been made. To me, the major concern of Ghanaians in all of these was possible financial loss to the state. The minister, like I said in my debate, was sincere and candid in everything he did. Information flowed to us, written evidence to us, and all of that. This goes to confirm that the minister did not lie when he said at all material times he knew he was dealing with a credible entity. And this flows from, one, the letter they wrote saying that they could not supply the rest, and the fact that they were willing to refund the unsupplied doses. Today, by the grace of God, the funds have fully landed in the account of government of Ghana. People have had all the twists to this whole thing. The minister has been at the receiving end because even statements of fact that he made, for some convenience, people decided to twist it. But this is public service. This is politics. But he's been firm and been consistent in everything regarding this whole situation. And today, we have the funds back. If you ask me whether or not the committee would have any further action to take, I would say no. Because in our recommendation, we stated that he should take the Ministry of Finance should take steps to seek refund of the difference. But the Ministry of Health, rather, consistent with its earlier response to her, has been proactive in ensuring that it is done. And today, it closes the matter.
You heard Chairman of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that investigated the Sputnik procurement deal, Alexander Afenyo-Markins. So, should the payment of the monies by Sheikh Ahmed Al Maktoum put to rest the controversy surrounding this matter? Here's Edem Senanu of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption speaking earlier in an interview with Daniel Dazi.
Respectfully and seriously, it does not. The fact that he indicates that one of the concerns of a majority of Ghanaians was whether we're going to lose some more money, that's true. But beyond that, there is the issue of the breaches of our laws that occurred and how come without the necessary approvals, this payment was made in the first place. There are process issues that suggest that other contracts could have also gone through, gone under the radar without us noticing them, and payments made that we ought to be taking into consideration. And so the matter does not rest simply because the Sheikh has returned the money. The question is, how did we get that far without the international agreement being approved by Parliament, without the Public Procurement Authority approval, without 50% of the consignment having been brought to the shores of this country? How come it is suggested that all effort was made to get a direct source when the embassy here claims that there was no attempt to contact them? So there are more questions than answers at the moment, and we need to make sure that we dig much deeper, get answers to prevent a future reoccurrence. I am surprised that in the parliamentary report, the fact of the breaches by their colleague was not taken into consideration in making a specific recommendation. And that is a gap or a deficit that Parliament must understand, that the people of this country will be taking a good look at them, because all of us really don't understand how come there was no specific recommendation relating to that.
Let's go on to the phone line and speak with Martin Kpebu, who is a lawyer. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Kpebu. You've always asked that we go ahead and get the money from this middleman. Now the money is here. Does the payment settle the matter, like the chairman of the committee says?
Not at all. Far from it. Look, with every passing day, this case just shows another ugly side of it. It gets worse and worse by the day. At all, this payment doesn't settle it, except that, yes, it's reduced the liability. You know, number one, the Supreme Court held in Amidu number one, Mr. Attorney General Waterville, that case, okay, Wayomi and others, that when a contract has not received parliamentary approval, that's a contract involving a foreign person, does not receive parliamentary approval, it is totally void. Oh, yes, and Aisha, you and I, we did a program 2 days ago on PM Express, right? And you know,
Definitely.
I brought in the law report and read it out to Ghanaians, that the Supreme Court says such a contract is void. So you cannot get any rights under it. And the reason the Supreme Court says so is that if it is not done, that if they don't take that stance, people can always go ahead and start implementing contracts even when there's no parliamentary approval, in the hope that, not just in the hope, knowing that under law they will be paid because they have worked. So this is going to lead to chaos. That is to say, when a contractor has signed an agreement with government of Ghana and Parliament, the people's representative is yet to scrutinize it, especially if the contractor even knows that some of the terms he has in the agreement are not beneficial to Ghana. All he has to do is try and manage or get into some relationship with the officers in charge and get them to approve for him to start working, even when Parliament hasn't approved. Then, in the event that Parliament doesn't approve, they will say, oh, but the man has worked, so let's pay him. So the Supreme Court knew what it was doing. The Supreme Court is our highest court. That is the court that is mandated to interpret the Constitution. And they have held that if a contract doesn't have parliamentary approval, it is void. And if it is void, you don't have any rights under it. So Al Maktoum has to bring the balance of $380-something thousand. He has to. And so we'll call upon the finance minister and the health minister to play and do another letter for that balance. Otherwise, then it means I will have to come to them for it, that they will have to personally pay. Yeah.
How does government's response to this matter affirms hope or otherwise in the ordinary Ghanaian? Because we've heard the president make a joke out of this matter. We've also heard the chairman of the committee that probed the health minister say that he did not tell a lie to the committee.
Okay, so number one, the president's joke. Aisha, I think that side, let's be very considerate and practical. I mean, obviously, the president was in Mr. Ajimabenu's homeland. He was in Bono Doma, right? And so, how on earth was the president going to embarrass their son? It just, I mean, in terms of protocol and ethics, it didn't look good. So the president had no option. And you know, visits like this are usually planned well in advance, generally. They say, so for me, that day when news came that he was in Doma, then I understood why Mr. Adimabenu has not yet been fired. Because once this visit had been scheduled, it doesn't look good. And actually, I'm putting it charitably. It's just not an option for the president to sack their son, and then in a week or even a month later, he goes to Doma. No. So this side of it is political. So I think we should, now that the president has left Doma, yes, we can continue to repeat calls that he should be sacked. But at least let's look at the other side. The positive side is that, look, the president didn't defend him either. And I've started in other interviews. I've shown how if His Excellency wants to defend his ministers, he does it. He's not shy. I mentioned, or he himself wants to respond to something. Remember, Joy FM a few months ago, there was a program where citizens were allowed to voice their concerns about our the president's flagship program, the free SHS, which the president has really done well by introducing. But when citizens expressed disquiet about the challenges, later the president responded when he went to University of Kpebu to receive an award. Then Sam Jonah, another case, Sam Jonah said there was a culture of silence. When the president thought he doesn't agree, he openly and publicly responded. There are many other examples. So for me, the fact that when he only chose to make a joke out of it shows that at least so far we've seen that the president cannot say anything in defense. There is no defense thus far. So let's look at it from that perspective. And then you mentioned also the question of Afenyo Martin saying Mr. Ajimabenu doesn't know.
And
I think
he didn't tell any lie.
Mr. Afenyo Martin, I think it's not a fair statement to make. Look, let's be very practical. Listen, that money, there was no way that money would be paid without Mr. Ajimabenu's involvement. Please, I repeat, there is no way that money could have been paid without Mr. Ajimabenu's involvement. Afenyo Martin should bear, with due respect, my learned friend. I mean, it's not good. When he does that, it's as if Ghanaians were fools. Look, let me show you practically in a ministry. The minister is the head. The next is the chief director. Aisha, I'm telling you that a chief director cannot write a letter for payment of such money without the knowledge of the minister. I repeat, a chief director cannot write a letter without for payment of such a colossal sum of money, 16 million Ghana and change. That's $2.8 million. It's about 16 million Ghana. A chief director cannot do that by himself. Look, he would usually, it's the minister who writes. Then, if the minister is not around, or if for some reason he's not well and all that, then he will instruct the chief director. Because remember that letter is being written to the finance minister. Ordinarily, a chief director cannot write to a finance minister. The chief director is below the finance minister, so he can't write. So it's only in exceptional cases when the minister is not well and all those that the director would write, and that's with the consent and the approval of the minister. A chief director cannot write that letter all by himself. Please. So this thing that Ajimabenu doesn't know, please, it's a cock and bull story. I think Ghanaians are wise enough with dissent. So people should spare us this thing. I mean, come on, what is this?
So, Counsel, you're so hopeful that definitely the president will do the needful.
Oh, yes, very much so. Yes. Mr. President, we've begged him, and I'm sure now that he's back from Doma, this is the time that Mr. President will be able to reflect on our demands and then do us the honors.
I'm grateful for your time. Martin Kpebu is a lawyer, and he's been speaking about the breaches of law in the contracts between Al Maktoum and the government of Ghana. And he says that there must be prosecutions. Luckily, we're joined also on the Zoom by Executive Director of the Africa Center for Health Policy and Research Analysis, Dr. Thomas Anaba. He's chairman of the committee. Ms. Anaba, if you can hear me, the fact that the committee chairman says the matter must be put to rest since the payment has been made, you earlier called for the health minister's head. Does it settle the matter for you?
Oh, thank you very much. I think that was good afternoon to your listeners and viewers. I think that was an opinion of the personal opinion of the chairman, because the findings that they presented to Parliament, the plenary of Parliament, is different from what he's saying. The man himself has accepted that he has committed a crime. He has accepted that he did something that was untoward. So he may be trying to defend him on the political lines, but when it comes to legal lines, he knows he can't do it. So these are sometimes some of the things that our politicians do and people just believe that every politician is not somebody we should respect. They do this, and people who have the guts to go into politics and turn Ghana to a good path would not like to go, because this type of behavior does not augur well for a lawyer who has defended cases and defended people in courts. For example, take this case, compare it to the National Communication Authority case, where they've imprisoned people for importing security gadgets for the country. I know 3 people are in jail right now because of it. They even paid money for equipment to be brought, but government still concluded that they have committed a financial loss to the state and they have been imprisoned. This one, they have also paid out money, and even the things haven't come. We had to go and investigate to know that they have paid money, because the man himself told us he hadn't paid any money. Now that we have uncovered that he really paid money and he's denying, it is even worse than what happened under the National Communication Authority deal, which calls for another prosecution of the minister, and even the finance minister, as Kpebu is saying. So I think that he's saying that the man is innocent or he did not tell a lie. It's neither here nor there, because all Ghanaians were watching the TVs, listening to the radio, and we knew very well that the man had told us a lie.
But Mr. Fenyomaking explains the point that the committee that probed the matter made a recommendation that the monies must be paid. For him, that action has happened, and so the matter must die.
No, paying back the money alone is not enough. If that is the case, then any public servants or civil servant who misappropriates money and uses it for his own benefit, when you take him to Public Accounts Committee, then they should just allow him to return the money and go free. So let's now make it a game in Ghana that no one should be punished for misappropriating money. No one should be punished for putting money at where it's not supposed to go. No one should be punished for breaching procurement laws. Then Ghana becomes a banana state. If we allow this to go on, then we are creating doom for ourselves. People will go ahead to do things. We already have one issue at hand. We have a road minister awarding contracts without parliamentary approval. It has started. That is the second case now. So are they also going to defend that? So it goes on and goes on. Tomorrow we hear the tourism minister has awarded contract to beautify Accra without involving anybody. Next time we hear that this minister has done that. Is that the way Ghana is supposed to be run? That is not the way. I think something must be done.
Does this put a dent on the work of the committee?
Oh, to me, it doesn't put a dent on the work of the committee. The committee members are standing firm on their decisions, and they've even gone to the plenary. And I've seen Akando, Honorable Akando, who moved the motion for him to be summoned, pushing very hard for him to be punished, seconded by the minority. That is Parliament. So Parliament is still pushing. It is his personal opinion, and his personal opinion cannot decide what we should do to people who have breached the laws of this country.
And of course, if you listen to what the president has been saying, it does not appear that Mr. McMahon will be, I beg your pardon, Ajimameno will be sacked as you are requesting. Are you also hopeful, like Martin Kpebu is, that the president will take action soon?
I am hopeful that even if the president would not sack him, there will be people who will be bold enough to take this case up in the legal spheres to see that this man is sacked. What the president did made some of us to finally conclude that he's suffering from what we call, he's suffering what we call bipolar attitude towards corruption in this country. Bipolar because he's angry when he hears that some people have committed crimes, and he's happy when other people have committed the same crime. And we are seeing it very clearly. I've just cited an example. When it comes to deal with other people who are not his close pals, he's quick to move for them to be picked. Ayariga, common ambulance, he was dragged throughout his tenure in parliament last time. NCA, people are in prison. Examples are there, numerous examples. This is a very clear example, palpable example of somebody committing crime and disrespecting the laws of Ghana. And you go to say that, oh, he's your man, he's this, he's tired, people are disturbing him. Abba, Mr. President, please give us some little respect. And I don't blame you, because we saw all the corruption charges, allegations in your previous regime, and we still voted you back. It means we Ghanaians endorse corruption and misappropriation of public funds by this government. So if they are doing it, we should blame ourselves. And if he's telling us in our faces that the man has done nothing wrong, he's paying us back for what we have rewarded him for. That is what I can say. Because it's painful that we taxpayers are suffering and some people are just cutting deals. Cutting deals. COVID-19 testing at airport is cutting deals. We all know. We still don't know the company. And this minister is the one who has caused it. Now you are going to buy vaccines that you can't even get. You've paid money for an LC. When you have an LC, why do you go ahead to pay money? It's all fraud. And President, we beg him, he should do the honorable like Martin Kpebu has just requested. If he can't do it, then we will have to mobilize legal brains to see what we can do to get him out of office, to make sure that civil servants and public officers do not abuse the laws of this country to their own benefits.
How long can you be patient for this to happen?
Oh, we know the plenary will come back, Parliament will resume, and when Parliament resumes, we know they also have to move some motions regarding this. So we are hopeful that when Parliament comes up, we'll look at what they will say. If by that time, President hasn't done anything, we'll look at how it will end. After that, then we'll see what we can do.
What will be your next action if all of these do not happen?
Consult legal persons to see what we can do if the President and Parliament fails to do the honorable.
I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Thomas Anaba. He's the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Health Policy and Research Analysis.